So with the recent rollout of patch 8.0, which is the pre-patch to Battle for Azeroth, assassination rogues as well as sub-rogues are extremely strong. Sub-rogue a little bit more so. In fact, sub-rogue can actually one-shot or global somebody, it seems like. It's absolutely insane. So I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm sure some other people have done videos like this. I mean, there's been a ton of sub-rogues around recently. So I figured I'd go ahead and share my build with you, and this is just a fun build that I wanted to do, and I think it's a really cool one, so let's get into it. Alright guys, so this is the build that I've gone with so far. Everything is optimized to deal the most amount of damage, give you the most amount of control. I mean, you should only be out of stealth for a couple of seconds, to be totally honest, and then you're going to go right back into stealth. If you're in a 1v1, this will be fun to do. I mean, if the person actually gets out of your stuns and everything, and you actually have a fight, like, they're going to be so low health that it's not really going to matter. So let's go through this rundown. So first of all, you have Find Weakness, which allows your Shadow Strike and Cheap Shot to reveal a flaw on the target's defense, causing all attacks to bypass 40% of that enemy's armor for 10 seconds. So that's a big deal. Obviously, if you're going against anything that has high armor, that's going to be very useful. Even if you're going against people who don't have high armor, that is going to help you out. It's the best choice in this tier, I feel like. So this next tier, the level 30 tier, is kind of controversial to some extent. Some people I've seen trying to go for Night Stalker, and some people go for Subterfuge. I kind of messed around with both of them, and here's why I went with Subterfuge, and here's why I think you guys should also go with Subterfuge. Night Stalker only increases your damage abilities by 12%. This is going to be pretty much whenever. Like anytime, just, anytime while Stealth or Shadow Dance is active, you're dealing 12% extra damage. This is why I went with Subterfuge, is because your abilities that require stealth can be used 3 seconds after stealth breaks. Also increases the duration of Shadow Dance by 1 second. The 1 second on Shadow Dance is just a nice little bonus, but to be totally honest, Subterfuge goes really well with Prey on the Weak. So what you can do in this case is you can open up with a Cheap Shot into a Shadow Strike for an increased 10% damage. I like that better than using Night Stalker. That's just me personally. Beyond that, Marked for Death, followed by Soothing Darkness for a small heal, and then Prey on the Weak, obviously. Dark Shadow, while Shadow Dance is active, all damage you deal is increased by 25%, which is a big deal. And then finally, Secret Technique. This is kind of the big part of this, or a big part of this. I think there's two pieces to this, right? There's Shadow Strike, and then you have Secret Technique, and you want to do one right after the other usually. So what Secret Technique does is it's a finishing move that creates a shadow clone, or shadow clones of yourself. You and your shadow clones each perform a pierce attack on all enemies near your target, dealing physical damage to the primary target and reduce damage to the other targets. So what this tells you is essentially that main target is taking a ton of damage, right? That main target's going to take a lot. Other people, not going to take as much. So what it does is it actually hits harder than a normal Eviscerate, just a little bit harder, and I believe in PvP it hits, just a little bit more hard, but it's actually really good. And whenever you can bring it in and you can do Shadow Techniques followed by an Eviscerate, right? Eviscerate chunks right now, and Secret Technique chunks right now. It's extremely strong. I definitely suggest it. Next, check these out. So Cold Blood, and keep in mind this is a total glass cannon build. I went for no defensives in this essentially, and just as much burst damage that I possibly could. Cold Blooded is extremely strong because it essentially just removes somebody's, like 10% of somebody's health as soon as you hit them with a Cheap Shot or a Shadow Strike. Is a huge deal, right? Phantom Assassin increases your crit strike chance while in Stealth or Shadow Dance by 35%. And then finally, Dagger in the Dark. Each second while Stealth is active and nearby enemies are within 20 yards, they take an additional 10% damage from your next Shadow Strike for 10 seconds, and this stacks up to 10 times. So you can do some pretty crazy stuff with this all comboed together, and you can just pretty much one-shot somebody. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what that looks like on, you know, multiple players in the world, as well as probably a few in PvP like battlegrounds and whatnot. This is a little bit better in the world as opposed to PvP battlegrounds, but it's still strong in PvP battlegrounds. And let me really quick run through the build for you, or let me really quick run through the rotation for you guys on just a training dummy. So to do the maximum amount of damage with this build, you actually are going to want to pop Shadow Blades prior to your opener. That way you can actually save that global cooldown. You can actually save that time. It's a very small amount of time that you're saving, but like every second counts, because this has to be very quick in order to actually just one-shot somebody, in order to global them. So whenever you hit somebody when this is active, it gives you 1 additional combo point and deals 50% increased damage as shadow damage for 20 seconds. It is insanely strong. So let's have a look. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have 10 stacks on them at the time, so your Shadow Strike does an increase of 100% damage. The next thing you want to do is you're going to actually pop Cold-Blooded, followed by Shadow Blades, and then you're actually going to open with the Cheap Shot directly into Shadow Strike. Remember, that's going to give you 10% increased damage. After that, you're going to instantly Secret Technique, followed by Marked for Death, probably followed by Symbols of Death. That way you can get energy back, followed by another Eviscerate. And then from there, I would just kind of go into to whatever you feel like you want to go into. You know, you can obviously pop Shadow Dance as many times as you want to continue your stun CC. Right, you should continue that stun CC. You want to get 3 stun CCs so that the person will be on stun DR. So you have 3 cheap shots that you want to get out. So let's have a look really quick. So something like that is just, I mean, that's what I would do. Notice how I did not use Nightblade at all. Also, another thing that I would point out is, notice that I was energy starved towards the end of that. You have to be very careful about that, and you have to kind of pay attention to your cooldowns and everything, and just make sure that you know what you're doing at that point. And just have a plan. Like, after you're starting to get energy starved, after your opener is done, you want to actually move on and do something else. You want to, you know, whatever it is you want to do. If you want to just vanish out or something like that, or, you know, blind the target and get a re, or, you know, vanish for the re and reopen, whatever you guys want to do is, I mean, it's up to you guys, but that's essentially the basic opener. So so check this out. Here's a short little montage of me using this in World PvP and Battlegrounds. Here we go.
Work on the base, put work on the base, put work on the base. Put work on the base, put work on the base, put work on the base.
Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy and you do want more content like this, be it updates on classes, be it me playing classes, showing you guys cool, weird builds, or anything like that, do hit that subscribe button. Turn the notifications on by hitting that bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you all later. Peace!